Depression is one of the most common illnesses that I treat in my office. And depression, just to be clear, is not the everyday blues, right? When you get down in the dumps, you have a fight with your girlfriend or something bad happens, you get a flat tire on your way into work. That is not depression. Depression is an illness that by definition is impacting your ability to function, or it's causing significant distress. And there are different kinds of depression. Depression is defined by psychiatrists and in mental health as a series of symptoms. It's like a Chinese menu, and you have to have symptoms that are present for 2 weeks or longer. And out of this menu of 9 symptoms, you must have 5 of the 9 that are causing significant distress or are significantly impacting your ability to function. Now, those 9 symptoms are depressed mood, loss of interest or pleasure, changes in your appetite with weight loss or weight gain, changes in sleep, so you're sleeping way too much or not enough. We have what is called psychomotor changes. Psychomotor referring to either you're very, very slowed down, almost paralyzed, or agitated, what we call an anxious depression. There's a profound loss of energy. There's feelings of guilt or worthlessness. We have loss of concentration. And oftentimes suicidal ideation. And the suicidal ideation is one of the dangers of depression because having just the thoughts can lead to actually taking actions. And what I tell folks is that having suicidal thoughts when you're depressed is normal for depression. We've got to be watchful for when the thoughts are going into, I really do want to be dead. And that's a medical emergency. One of the ways that I think about suicidal thoughts, it's a symptom of depression in the same way that when you have the flu, having a temperature, having a fever is a symptom of having the flu. If you don't have these symptoms, let's say you only have 4, or let's say they've only been present for a week, we can't really diagnose major depressive disorder. What we would say is that you have a depressive disorder that does not meet the criteria, or depression not otherwise specified. And there's 2 kinds of this depression once you've hit the criteria. There's depression that's unipolar, that is people who only get depressed. And that's contrasted with bipolar depression, which is patients who have both lows, they meet all the criteria for depression, but they also have mania associated with the depression. One of the findings that we have with the illness of major depression is that a lot of times people can show up and work and do things and still be profoundly depressed. When you stop and you check through this system checklist, they're functioning when they show up at work, they're doing what they have to, but by the time that they get home, they're completely wiped out. And they're no longer able to function and interact with their family, take care of the family, be involved in other activities of their life, because by that point, their depressive symptoms are completely blown up. One of the common things I see with depression, when people are talking to me, is mornings are oftentimes the hardest time in their day. People wake up feeling just terrible. And by the end of the day, people are starting to feel almost back to themselves. And the other thing that people will describe is this feeling in the morning, like I just can't get out of bed. I have lots of patients with depression who struggle with being able to show up to work when their depression is really flared up and they're very symptomatic. Depression is profound, and there's a tremendous amount of suffering associated with depression. And and it's got a huge burden for not just the individual and the family, but also for society as a whole. Depression is also very treatable. People are often reluctant to seek help. They see it as having stigma associated with it, but there's lots of help available. Seeing a primary care doctor is often how people first get started with treatment. Seeing a therapist for talk therapy, or a mental health professional, a psychiatric nurse practitioner or a psychiatrist for medications. And one of the exciting new areas that is coming along and we have in our office is transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS, which is a treatment that is incredibly effective for patients who have not responded to medications. TMS is a great alternative, and insurance companies are now agreeing that it's effective, and we're able to get authorization for TMS more and more easily.